This is the funny part, right? Because like I get young men reaching out to me all the time, and they're like, they're very motivated, driven like yourself, and they're like, this is what I want for my life. I want this this big life. I want a beautiful relationship. I want to travel the world with my kids. I want to be a multi-millionaire and all this stuff.
And the GSD energy gets you there. It gets you to the initial, yes, I made it, so this therefore works. But then what got you here will not take you there.
And what's funny is, like when they tell me all this stuff and I say, well, what do you want in a partner? And they're like, I'll tell you what's on my list. I want a tall, blonde, athletic, funny, caring, homebody, entrepreneurial, kind, witty, driven, like all these things, right? Mm-hmm. And what was funny is that if, when they tell me this, they make these like wish lists, I go, are you any of that?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm a little driven. I'm like, are you a 10 out of 10? Well, I'm a strong 7.8. It's like, dude, you're a 6.5 at best. Like, let's be honest. Because here's the thing is, you want those things, but you're not that person. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, we attract who we are. So there's a reason why some people keep going in the same relationship over and over and over, because they're attracting that type of partner. So if you have a wish list that is a 10 out of 10, you got to ask yourself, how do I show up as that? I will tell you, my wife will not put up with the old Dan. Okay, that guy doesn't show up, but if he did, it's a quick shut that down. Okay, the workaholic, driven, not replying to me, not asking me about my opinion, not co-creating our future together, that person that was all in on Dan, if I showed up with that energy around my wife, there's about a half a millisecond where that is not gonna, it's zero. And that is what you want, right? You want to be in a relationship with somebody that challenges you to become more. And I think that is the most beautiful thing that a partner does. I mean, I honestly think a great partner will show you where you are not free. And that is the work that we should be on the journey to do, right? So who did I need to become to not only attract somebody, because that's the thing. It's like step one is be, we don't create success, we attract success.
Bingo.
So who do you need to become to attract that person in your life? Once they're in your life, how do you show up every day in a way where they want to stay in your life, right? And you talked about A players. Well, the truth is unless they feel like they're in partnership and they're growing and they're learning and there's a future and they have, there's a vision together that you're co-creating, like great people. This is funny. Well, this is not funny. Like when, again, these young people come to me and they're like, here's my wish list. I'm like, dude, do you realize that you just told me you want a unicorn? And that unicorn has options for every other unicorn in the world, and you aren't even close to being a unicorn.
My unicorn speaks Spanish.
Like, dude, it's like Colombia. I want a woman who's making $1 million a year and is kind and is beautiful and is athletic and I'm like, that woman can choose
anybody,
100 million men.
Yeah.
So if you think you're going to compete against that and you're lazy, dysfunctional, not prepared, can't brush your hair, whatever that thing is, like that the crazy chaos of your life, like don't be surprised if you wake up one day and go like, man, it's really tough to find somebody. It's because you don't find them, you attract them. So that's been the journey for me and continues to be, man, because like I think a great spouse is also evolving themselves, so they're showing you like it's a dance. But definitely the Dan that you're talking to today is not the Dan of 28 years old. Like that person had to die for me to be able to create the space to be in a relationship with my wife.
Yeah. And you're preaching to the choir, man. Like I'm someone that hasn't had like that happen, like kind of, sort of, where it's like I had this giant vision where I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take on the world, and it's kind of the same thing. But then I realized I was like, I'm forcing this vision on somebody else that never even asked for it. So like I'm doing like exactly every single thing that you just said. And I'm kind of like on the tail end of it now, where now I'm on my 2 years of kind of slowness and getting still, right, to figure out the next thing. So you're preaching to the choir, man. Cool. Like that's why I asked these from that perspective of someone that literally like just went through it.